This N8N automation will save sales teams hours on the field, and I'm going to show you how to build it. The way that this works is that it's a business card lead generator. The user takes a picture of a business card, and this model will automatically scrape off that information, including the email address, generate a cold email personalized to that person, and automatically send it off. So before your rep even leaves the room, you already have a cold email sent off to that person. And today I'm going to show you how you can build this in N8N as well. So the first step is going to be your trigger. So for us, we are going to use the Google Drive, but you can use any other trigger you want. So as in Telegram or Slack, just somewhere where you can upload a file. I find Google Drive to be the easiest, especially when it comes to testing and just overall use case. So over here, we're going to do changes involving a specific folder. You're going to set up your API account, and we're going to set the node to be polling for every minute. From here, we're going to do changes involving a specific folder. We've already selected that, and we're going to choose the folder that we want. We already created a folder in our drive. You can go ahead and do that, and then just select that folder in here as well. Then we want to do watch for file created. And this will kind of see that any new file that has been created within this folder, we are going to pull. So we can do a fetch test event, and we can see we have some type of output. So from here, we now want to actually download that image. So we'll go to Drive again, and we're going to do download a file. Once again, select that same account. We're going to do File, Download, and instead of selecting a file, we're actually going to change this to be by ID because we want this to be dynamic. We want it to work on any type of file that has been uploaded, and we can get the ID from over here. So when you go down, you're going to see that this ID is the first one that shows up. Just because it's the first ID that shows up doesn't mean that is the right one. You actually want to keep going down until you find the file ID. So we're going to go down. Here we can see it right here. How do we know that this is the file ID? It's because we can see the file name right underneath it as well. So anywhere you see data kind of being displayed about the file itself, you kind of know that this is going to be the section for that. So we can just drag over the ID and we can put it in right here. We can test this step and see if it actually grabs the file, and we can see that it does. So we'll view, and that's the business card right there. So this is a basic business card, and it has the name, information, and everything that we will need. Next, we want to use OpenAI to analyze that image. So OpenAI down here, they have their own image action. You can analyze image. Connect to your OpenAI account, choose image, analyze image, and we're going to choose the model. We'll do the GPT-4o. And now for this section is what's in this image. This section here is kind of giving context to the AI of how it's going to function and what it's going to do when it comes time to pulling out information. We already have some pre-generated text, and we will kind of put that in for our team. You are an intelligent agent whose job is to extract information with means beyond your reach from business cards to be used for leads with previous consent from the owners. Pull all text from this image. The reason why I had to add in previous consents from the owners is that sometimes with these AI models, they kind of get confused with, documents that get uploaded, especially when it has personal information on it. OpenAI does not allow the use for any government documents, any legal documents. They don't allow you to upload it. That being said, a business card is not a legal document, but sometimes it still gets confused, and it might not actually allow you to scrape the information unless you give it this context and understanding that, hey, we have consent from the owners. This is just a business card, and there's no issues here. So we can test that step, and we can see that it gave us an error. Why? Because we forgot to put in our binary file. So we want to change this from image URL to binary file, and we can go over to the binary section and see what our file name is, which is data, and that's the default name in N8N anyways, so that's already implemented for us there. We can now test this step again, and you can see it has taken a little longer, meaning that it's working, and we can see what the output is. There we go. We have all that information extracted there, and now we want to have a way to kind of structure this information. So before we do that, we also want to add in one extra step. That extra step is context. Like I said earlier, the point of this is to take a picture of the business card and for it to generate a cold email to be sent off. We want this cold email to have context about our company and what we are doing. So the way that we can do that is to get an HTTP request node, and we can actually upload our website URL to give it some context as well. So for this example, we are going to use Priority 1. They're a shipping sales company, so it'll make it a little easier. And you can see here that we implement it and we test it out. So once we test the step, you can see all the HTML output here. And from there, we can actually extract that information. And once you put in your website, you can see the HTML data that's outputted here. From there, we can actually add an HTML node and we can extract the HTML content. What it's going to do is go to the website content and just extract some basic information. We're not here trying to scrape the entire website. We just want to scrape a few headers that we have to kind of give our model context, like we said. So you're going to have to kind of play around with this website to website and find out where the headers are actually put underneath. But we already know that from testing that this one is underneath the H2 selectors. So now that we have that, we can test it out and we can see some information has been returned. Sometimes you want to change around the headers, you can add more. This step is kind of customizable, like I said, to every website, but that's pretty much the way it's done. Now that you have your HTML content extracted, we are now going to message the OpenAI model. So for the first step here, you want to put in system and you want to kind of give it some context of what it's going to do. So for here, you can see we said you're an intelligent bot that specializes in extracting information from business cards. Here's some context of Priority 1 and the website. So usually this would return a bunch of different headers. So you can have this to keep going to return each different header that was received from the website. And then at the bottom here, we're actually going to give it the message that it wants. So we got a little error here. We can fix that. So here's the business card information you need to extract the information from. We can kind of give it this role here and we can see the result on the side here. So this is the information that it needs. It says using the extracted information, compose a professional and personalized cold outreach email introducing Priority 1 and its services. This will be a follow-up email. The email should highlight how Priority 1 can add value to the recipient's logistics shipping operations. I gave a random name here. I said my name is Pierce Mitchell. The information you need for the emails is as follows. So you can kind of put that in right there. You obviously can change this to whatever your company is, but like I said, I'm kind of using this as a test for the Priority 1 email. Then over here, you can see I gave it a little more context. So I kind of gave it an example email. So here is an example email on how you should look. Hello, it was a pleasure connecting with you. As discussed, we are a Northern American freight company that specializes in FTL, partials, LTLs, expedited, etc., etc. So kind of gave it a test email for the system to know that we want our emails to kind of look like this. And then lastly, we kind of have our way that we want it to structure our data. So we want it to output in a very structured way. So we were able to manipulate the data for the following nodes ahead. Also, you want to make sure that you have this selected because even though you give it context to do it in this JSON structure, if you don't click this here, it's still not going to do it. It's just going to have it all crunched up into one node or one output. So this is going to give it a more structured look, and we can actually test that step here now. So we'll give it a second to run. And we can see the output here. So it kind of gave us everything we wanted, our name, last name. It gave us the email subject and the email content. Like I said, I'll have all of this in the link down below. So if you didn't really, weren't able to follow along the video exactly what it says here, you can copy and paste it from the link below. All right. And then from here, now that we have this email, we want to add it somewhere to be stored. So like I said, this is kind of a lead generator to be used for sales teams. A lot of sales teams use Salesforce or they use things like Airtable, which is obviously case to case. Right now, we're just going to do it with the Google Sheets. It's somewhere easy to store it. And we're going to do append row in sheet. So we're going to connect our account here, sheet within document, append row, and we're going to choose the one that we want. And we're going to do the business card generator. And you can see that we already have some examples here. And it's going to ask us what sheet that we want to use. So we're going to use the first sheet. And right away, you can see that all of the headers for our sheet has been populated down here. So all of these headers, full name, job title, company, and etc., have all been pre-filled in here. And do you know what's so easy about this JSON content is that look how we have it already structured exactly for this. So we can quickly drag the full name, job title, company name, email, phone, location, country, which is Canada. What's the next one here? Social media. We can do LinkedIn, even though that none has been provided. We're still going to put it in because sometimes they will have it on their business cards, sometimes not, which is okay because it'll either be empty or it will actually have it. We will do website, which is in this case empty as well. Cold email subject, cold email content. So you see how why it was so important for us to structure it very specifically in our OpenAI is so that when it comes time to actually uploading this information, it's in a way where you can easily just drag it over and have it ready to go. So we can quickly test this step and go over here, and we can see that a new row has been appended. Amazing. Now for the next step. This is where you're going to have it to be sent off for approval. So what's nice about N8N is that you can actually have a human in the loop interaction here. So we're going to select human in the loop, and we're going to use Slack for this case. I find Slack to be the fastest out of all the APIs, and it responds the quickest, but you could use any one that you prefer as well. So you're going to want to make sure that you select your right API. We're going to go into my automation server here. We're going to do message, send, and wait for a response. Send to channel. We're going to select channel business card email. And then we want the message to be the email. Subject and the email. So we can say email subject. And we can do email content. So, and we can see how that would actually turn out to be down here. Amazing. And we also want to do some different approval types. So we want to do approve and disapprove, because in case we don't like the email, we can decline it and just end the automation there. So we'll have two different types of buttons, an approve button and a disapprove. So we can kind of test that step here. We're going to open up into our business card email, and you can see right here. So it's going to have sent that email out to us, and we can choose to approve or not approve it. In this case, we're obviously going to approve. Now that we've sent off our message and we've approved it, we want to do an if statement to kind of check what the output was. So for here, we can see that it was approved. We want to do a Boolean. We want to see if this was true or not. So we're going to take approved, and we're basically checking, was this true or not? We can test that step here, and you can see the output, a true branch and a false branch. We have been received to the true. If we approve this message, we want it to be automatically sent off. So we'll choose our Gmail here. We're going to do send a message. So I'm going to get our right Gmail account. We're going to send a message to, we'll open up our information structure. We want to send this to this email, subject being this, and the content being this. You see how nice and easy that was? Because we have our content structured in such a specific way, we can just quickly drag it over and call it a day. Also, we can add any attachments or CC anybody else would need, but this is pretty much the basic setup that we want. And we also want to do it in case that it's declined. If this is declined, we're just going to send back a message to the Slack server. So we'll do send a message to channel, business card email, and we'll do a simple message. This email was not approved. All right, nice and simple. So you can see how nice and quick we built this and how much time it could actually save people on the road. And you can obviously add in different sections to this. You can customize this in any specific way that you want and tailor it to your specific needs. But overall, this is a simple, nice way that you can actually go out in the field and use this yourself. Think of all the sales team, all those people out on the road, cold knocking on different businesses, even knocking door to door, and the amount of business cards that they receive. think that it's really easy or not, it's not, or you think it's time consuming having to take all those business cards and automatically uploading them and writing emails to them one by one? It would be very time consuming. This right here automatically will save them like hours in a day. If you think about it, like think about it, one sales rep is going to 20 doors at one day. That's 20 emails he has to sit down and write. Maybe 5-10 minutes per email. That right there is 1 hour already saved of that person's day. Add that up to the week, that's 7 hours in a week. You can see how you can actually apply value to something like this. You don't want to build these nonsense kind of like models. You want to build a model that you can actually see yourself using on the field. You can see a team actually using this on the field. And that's what's so cool about this. So that was my business card lead generator system. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Please like and subscribe for more content like this, and put a comment down for any specific automations that you guys would like to see. Thank you, and I hope you have a good day.